Okay, tonight we'll be continuing our series of 3 great trails you've never heard of in Jacksonville. And so this is 3 more trails you've never heard of. I think we've talked before. Some of you might be new, but let's just go through this anyway. Jacksonville, largest city by area in the contiguous United States. Anchorage in Alaska is bigger, but after that comes Jacksonville, 875 square miles. It also has the largest park system in the United States, over 400 city parks, 80,000 acres, 7 state parks located in our area, and 3 national parks. And so we shouldn't feel bad if we haven't been to some of them or we've never heard of them. So that's what we're trying to do, is take a look at some you've never heard of that have some great hiking trails or other features that you need to know about. So tonight we're going to be looking at kind of going all over the place. First, we're going to go up north of the airport and look at Seaton Creek Preserve. Then we're going to come down into the urban area right off Southside and Beach and look at Beach and Peach Urban Park. And then we're going to go way out in the boonies on the west side to South Taylor Preserve. We'll look at where they're located. I'll kind of give you an idea about how to get there. We'll talk about what history I've been able to glean about these areas, and then we'll take a hike so you can see the trails. Seaton Creek Preserve, here's the airport. It's up north of the airport. So it's up 95, exit on Pecan Park Road. Now Pecan Park Road right here hangs a hard left, but Arnold Road continues. So you just keep on going straight and you'll see Seaton Creek Preserve on your right. I don't have much info on the settlement of this area, whether there was indigenous First Americans there or what, but I know this area was probably not settled much, probably logged extensively at one time, just looking at the age of the trees. It was around the site of the southernmost Revolutionary War battle, the Battle of Thomas Creek in 1777. And there were a couple of times during the Revolutionary War where colonialists came into British Florida to try to stop the flow of supplies through Florida, or just to attack British troops. This battle didn't turn out well. The Georgia militia folks were going to meet up with some Revolutionary War soldiers. The soldiers got delayed, and so the Georgia militia got ambushed and got beat pretty bad. This area, in the recent times, this area had been planned for extensive development, but the city bought the land in 2012, and then the Parks Department got in there, built some trails, built some other amenities, and opened it up in 2014. You can characterize these trails as pretty flat, relatively wide, pretty dry. I was up there a couple weeks ago, and it seems to drain pretty well. Pretty well marked with signs. There's some blazes that are pretty old that are on the trees. I guess the blaze was put there in 2014. They're starting to fade. But I found the blazes helpful sometimes to make sure I was on the right trail. So you might look for those. I'll show you some of those as we start getting on the trail. Most of the time, these service roads, most of the time these service roads are these blue service roads, I'll say again, are old truck roads that aren't very attractive or anything. The service road in this area is really nice. And if you don't want to get out in the woods and feel like you might get kind of lost on those trails, you can hike right up that blue service road and have a beautiful hike. So you can do that as well. There's no restrooms or anything else there at the main entrance. So keep that in mind. So I want to talk about these trails a little bit out of order. The main trail is this Houston Creek Trail, this yellow one. It starts at the parking lot and runs up through the center of the area and out to, and runs out to a little kayak launch and picnic bench. It's about 2.3 miles one way. So if you do that and come back, you've done about 4 miles. It has a loop on it right here called the long cut. So if you just want to come up to this intersection, then loop back around and come back to the parking lot, you can do that. If you want some extra hiking, you can add in this legacy loop, this red loop that's north of where I was before. And like I said, you can use the service road. You'll see the service road here when we hike. You'll see it's pretty nice. So we've seen this before. We'll start out here at the trailhead. We turn right away, and we're taking this little loop off in the woods here along the Houston Trail. And now we've come back out on the road. We got a very short little road walk, and then we'll go back into the onto the trail through the woods. So we're going along the road there, nice creek we go over. And then you can see the sign is pretty easy there to see where you turn to go into the to go back into the woods and take the Houston Trail on up. So you can see here, you can see the blazes I'm talking about there. You see that yellow blaze on the tree is pretty faded, but those can be helpful. So you can watch out for those when you're in the middle of the woods and you're pretty sure you know where the trail is, but you're not real sure. You can usually see a faded blaze on there. I've talked to the city about redoing them, but I'm not sure they want to do tree blazing anymore. They'd rather do the signs, but they don't really have the signs everywhere. At any rate, we're up here at this intersection. You can go right and take that long cut, or go left and continue on the Houston Trail, and that's what we're going to do. Pretty woods in here, pretty open woods. Go by this old picnic table that's right here. And then we're back up to this intersection where we go straight across again and get on the long cut to go back around. Or we could turn left, and I think I turned left and went on out to this kayak area. So this is the kayak launch out at this point. Now, this little creek here runs off Thomas Creek. We in the Sierra Club have led a lot of kayak trips on Thomas Creek. I've never seen this little branch. I don't know where it is. You know, I'm not sure you could come off Thomas Creek and get in here. And if you wanted to put in here, you'd have to carry your kayak 2.5 miles. So not sure how much of utility this kayak launch is, but it is a pretty area to overlook. So from here, you got a couple of choices. You can go on and take that red loop, that legacy loop, and go further up. I didn't do that for this show. I just thought we'd come back, and I thought we'd come back along the service road so you could see that. So we're going to come back via the Blue Trail. Lots of pretty scenery along there. And we're back at the parking lot. So we started here, went up here to that intersection. Jeez. Took a left by the picnic table. Then we came to that big intersection. We went up to the kayak launch. Then we came back and just came down the road. One nice thing about that road is, since it's elevated and built up, stays pretty dry. Be great for biking. Be great for jogging. You can do a good 4.5, 5 mile run just on that Blue Trail. So it's got a lot going for it there. So what did I like about Seaton Creek? And this is the first time I've been there. I think there's something for everybody. Like I said, you can bike the Blue Service Road. You can go for a run on it, or if you're a little nervous about getting lost in the woods, you can just do that hike up on the Blue Trail and just see plenty of nice scenery like what you're looking at here. And the wooded trails are also nice. The Houston Trail that I took was really nice, and I know that I didn't show you the long cut, but looks a lot like the Houston Trail. Real pretty and pretty easy to follow. And Legacy Trail I haven't been up to yet. I got a feeling Legacy Trail might be a little wetter. Uncrowded, it certainly is. And so I would say it's very uncrowded. This is not the place, if you feel at all nervous about hiking by yourself, this is the best place to bring a hiking buddy. Even if you're a good hiker and something happens to you, it's not going to be easy, for people to find you, although I didn't have cell service all through it. And as you saw from the previous screen, there's a lot of various options as taking the length of your hike. So that's Seaton Creek Preserve. Now let's move downtown to Beach and Peach, which has a little bit of a unique history to it. So this is on what's called Anders Boulevard, which is the turn right off the south side, right here. Here's Beach Boulevard, here's South Side. So right before you get to Beach, you turn on Anders and come in, I don't know, maybe a mile or so, and you'll come to the entrance to Beach and Peach. Actually, you can see that Beach and Peach are up this way on the north side. And so I'll kind of tell you how, we'll see how that got its name, even though it's on Anders and well away from Beach and Peach. So this land was bought by the Anders family shortly after the war, and they developed Southside Estates, but for some reason never developed this area. So this area just sat there undeveloped, relatively undeveloped. And then the city bought the land with the preservation project money in 2002. Now, let me just briefly tell you about the preservation project. Mayor Delaney, when he was mayor in 1999, traveled up north into the Timucuan area and realized that he really had to get going to save land before it all got developed. So he started a preservation project with money. Some of the money was grant money, some of it was taxpayer money, and started buying up land for parks. And that's why we have the largest park system. And so part of that preservation project money bought this small urban park in 2002. And then the city came in and again did a nice job of putting in some facilities and amenities and opened the park in 2007. There's no trail maps to this, but it's not very long, but I just made this map out of a Google map and then superimposed my GPS track on top of it so you could take a look. But you can see that the yellow portion is paved, so that's good for wheels, whether you got strollers or wheelchairs or whatever you got. You got some great views of this little pond in here. The rest of the trail, the orange part, is wooded and flat, relatively easy to travel on. I saw people walking, I saw people on bikes doing the thing, and so it's pretty flat, pretty easy. There's some other trails that just go off in the woods somewhere. Most of those were kind of flooded. I didn't get a chance to explore those, but they didn't seem to go anywhere. They seemed to go a certain distance and then stop. One I went on came into a kind of a major homeless camp. So you might want to stay away from those trails that I don't show you here. Total mileage on the trail is about 1.5 miles round trip. And now let's take a look. You enter the park from the parking lot. You can see the paved trail. Straight ahead goes to that, goes on down to the unmarked portion, but we'll take a left first. This goes out to the water. There's a little peninsula that sticks out here between goes out into the lake. So you have pretty views of the water on each side. Isn't that nice? Nice bench down there. Pretty views. Now we're looking across the water to another pavilion over there. There's about 3 picnic pavilions that are well spread out in here that are really nice. Okay, now we'll return and head down the main trail. This is the pavilion we were looking at across the water before. That's pretty. Nice views of the water. And then we come down to the last pavilion, and this is where the pavement ends. So we're right down at this point here. So we're just going to keep on going down the Orange Trail and head to this bike park down at the end. This is all pretty well marked, pretty easy to find. A couple of turns that are pretty obvious, then just down this straight part. So now we're at Beach and Peach. And this area you see circled here was a rogue area that a bicycle club went into and built their own BMX mountain bike park. So they hand built all these jumps and all these hills and stuff in there, and did it all by hand. And they're pretty proud of what they did. And you can find some videos online of people being able to jump over these and do flips and everything else. So from one of their websites, it said Beach and Peach trails built by riders for riders, pushing the limits of riding and just plain out having fun. So they called it the Beach and Peach place. And when the city took over the land, they preserved this BMX park, and then just named the whole park the Beach and Peach Park after this bike club. So they said it was picked up by the city of Jacksonville because we built the place illegally on city property, and to avoid being plowed and ruining the hard work that was put into it, we were happy to give it over to the city. So I suspect it's still open. I'm not sure how you get in. I read one place where there's somebody that lives close by that has a key, or maybe it's just open when they have events. I'm really not sure, but you can search online and find some videos where these folks really have a good time doing it, and they have some pretty good wipeouts as well. So now we just turned around, came back, and then we took this little loop here. When we got back to the pavilion, we took this little loop here around through the woods, just a short loop, just to get off the main trail. Let me go back a minute. So this is a pretty little trail, not much. We're going around that loop. Just a short one, might be a quarter mile or so. Then you come back out, you can see the paved trail out there. And then back up to the parking lot. So we took a walk out here on the paved portion out in this little peninsula out here in the lake. Then we walked down to the end where the last pavilion is. And then we just followed the trail down to the BMX area, came back. We got to that first pavilion. We just went this way. We turned right, and we went down there. If you turn left, that's where you go down into that homeless encampment that probably just best to leave those folks alone. So I'd never heard of this park, and somebody had pointed it out to me. And I really like the pretty pond views. I like the paved trail because that's good for, like I say, wheelchairs or bikes or strollers or whatever, and, or even nice for people that just need that sort of easy trail to walk on. Nice wooded trails that are easy to hike on. The picnic pavilions are well spaced out, pretty places to stop. The bike park, of course, is great. And you could, like I say, you could bike the whole place, the whole way we hike down there. It's easy to go on your bike as well. And it's always nice to find a little bit of nature in the middle of an urban area. I know sometimes we find these on the creeks we kayak at, where we're right in the middle of a built up area, and then all of a sudden we feel like we're in the middle of nowhere. Well, you feel that here too. So it's really a nice park to visit. So that's Beach and Peach. Now we'll go way back out west west of the Beltway and take a look at South Taylor Creek Preserve. So this is on Nathan Hale Road. So this is 295. You can either take 103rd Street out to Normandy Boulevard or take the exit on Normandy Boulevard. And then you just go down. When you come to Nathan Hale Road, you turn left and go down maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and you'll see the park on your left. Now on your right, you'll also see a parking area and a park, but that's part of the northern part of Jennings Forest. So you go to the left. This was originally known as Nathan Hale property, probably logged, but not really developed. And then when they started to build Cecil Field in 1941, they weren't going to develop this at all, probably just for security reasons. So Cecil Field came into being right around the beginning of World War I in 41, closed with the Base Closure Act in 1999. And in 2001, city purchased the land, again, I believe with preservation money, and renamed it South Taylor Preserve after the creek, the South Taylor Creek that runs through there. These trails are all look to me to be all old logging roads. So they're dry, flat, easy walking, well marked. There's signs and blazes. A lot of horseback riding in here, but this is also great for just walking or biking. So you see they have a trail they kind of call the main trail, which is this red one. And it winds around, finally goes down to where you can almost see South Taylor Creek. And then the blue trails just go off of that as little spur trails. So it's really up to you about the length of the hike you want to take. All the trails that I show you are the same as the ones I don't show you. They're all big, wide, open areas, but they're not pitted like a lot of logging roads are. They're clean, they're elevated, and it's a nice place to walk, even though they are roads. So let's take a look. So we're going to start at the parking lot, and then this is just going down the main trail. Like I say, all trails are similar. Pretty woods. There's a turn off to the left of the first spur trail there. And we kept on going down to this area, and then we made a right. Now this says, up here, this says that I went up this way. It's an open area, but I didn't see any way to get into any of the Cecil Commerce area, which is over here. So anyway, so we turned right and went down this way and out this way. You can see that it's pretty obvious when you come to intersections where you are. So it's pretty easy to figure things out. I did find one sign here that pointed this way for exit, which wasn't correct. So I think if you're going to walk in here, keep track of where you go and just make those turns that way, and don't expect to find the exit if you went up here and turned left. So this is the area I walked out into, because it said there was a trail into the Cecil Commerce Preservation Area or something. I couldn't see any trail in there at all. But this is a pretty open area, and I'm not sure whether there had been some sort of development in there at one time or what, but the trees are well spaced apart there. Now we're heading back to the parking lot. Pretty creek as we passed, and then down to the parking lot. So we hiked up here. This road was kind of flooded, this spur trail, so we kept on going. Walked up here, looked at that, came down here, walked up to this intersection. This trail looked like it would be good, and I did go all the way down here to South Taylor Creek, but I understand that you can get down here and kind of get a view of the creek. So you're really on your own as far as how much you want to hike or bike or run. And you just take your choice. It's obviously great trails for horseback, great trails for cycling. Also, a lot of us, a lot of folks would rather just hike on a trail. They didn't have to worry about stumbling over roots or trying to find their way. So certainly it's a nice trail just for a nice walk, real quiet in there, real pretty, or going for a run. Nice place to go for a run. Very quiet. This area is not well populated, very rural area, uncrowded. There's a real nice covered picnic pavilion there, a party area, and a restroom building that's really nice and nice and clean. That's there as well. So we've looked at Seaton Creek Reserve way up on the north side. We've looked at the Beach and Peach Urban Park, and we just finished taking a hike through South Taylor Preserve. All three I recommend. They're all worth going and taking a look at. So another quick look at the Beach and Peach, that beautiful dock area by that picnic pavilion. And that's the end.